everyone on ESPN, Fox Sports, everyone was kind of saying, "Uh-oh, the Chiefs are done here." You know, and if you look at all the acquisitions in the AFC West over the past 2 weeks, Khalil Mack coming back to the AFC West, Russell Wilson going to the AFC West, Devontae Adams going to the AFC West. Meanwhile, we're bringing in Juju, Justin Reed, but then we're letting go Tyreek Hill. So obviously there's kind of a little bit of overreaction there. But has the balance of power shifted in the AFC West?
If we play today, but we don't. So that's where I look at it. And thank God we don't play till September. So right now, if we had to go out and play a game today, yeah, absolutely. We're third or fourth best team, or in the division, no doubt about it. Just on paper, what you're looking at. But after all said and done, as long as you still got 15 back there at the helm, we're gonna be all right. I think what we're gonna bring in, what we'll see with some of these moves, and I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful these things are gonna work out. I think we'll get back to where we need or were before all of this offseason started rolling. So,
yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, it's one of those things to where, the stuff that those other teams are making, those teams they haven't been to the AFC Championship the last 4 years in a row.
Yep.
They're trying to do what they can to get where the Chiefs have been, at. And we lost Tyreek Hill, but it's like, and you could say that saying he's just one man, but it's like, to me, I feel like these other guys on Kansas City are almost, and the other receivers in the room are going to put a chip on their shoulder and be like, hey, we're going to make you forget about Tyreek Hill. Not that you're going to truly forget about him because, of what he brought to the table. Right. But, moving forward, it's like, who's to say, like we talked about Josh Gordon, who's to say that guy, I mean, he's 30 years old. Are you kidding me? That's when most people are in their prime.
Yes. Right.
I'm so, and Juju, I mean, he's got, to me, if he can stay off the whole, TikTok world and everything and stuff like that, dances and all that. Because to me, you put a target on your back. I mean, unfortunately, they might have to, rein old Patrick's brother in a little bit too, because not many people are fans of him. But those things you just, there's people that don't like the Chiefs because of Patrick Mahomes' brother or whatever, and then there's people that didn't like the Steelers because of Juju doing all the dances and stuff like that. And I get it, there's a time and place for that, but like, you're here to play football. You're not here to get all your fans and your followers all these funny videos or dance, trending dances and stuff. Do one of those dances after a touchdown, like Jamar Chase, his little giddy or whatever, things like that. That's when you can do your dance, not on the sideline before the game or whatever it might be. Moving forward, I just think those guys will a full off season together with Patrick at the, like you said, you're not gonna, as long as Patrick's still back there, you're always going to be a contender, and he's going to continue to feed the ball to guys who need or that are open. And then as far as, like you said, mentioned earlier in the show, like, who's to say our running game doesn't step up? Because at some point you got to take the load off. You can't keep doing it week in and week out. I mean, Jones in Green Bay, I mean, think about the workload he took off of Aaron Rodgers the past couple of years, or Williams or whatever his name was or whatever. So, I mean, those things are, and what's it, Edwards Jones, what's the running back?
They got Dillon and they got Aaron Jones up there. Both of them are workhorses.
Yeah,
they got a good running game up there.
Edwards Claire.
Oh yes, Clyde Edwards Hilaire.
Yeah, I mean, a guy like him, I mean, he's going into his third year this year. I mean, he's been a stud, but it's like, at some point, Andy's like, all right, I mean, obviously you're taking the ball out of Patrick's hands and his first 2 years because of what the weapons he's had. Now it's like, all right, let's give Patrick a little break and get a running game of some sort. But let's just going back to Andy Reid's offense. It's probably going to be tough to say that there's truly a strong running game in a sense, because he's going to air the ball out. There's no doubt on that.
Yeah, we might have to twist his arm a little bit on that one. things, what I mean? Like, hey, Eddie, come on, like just please give us 8 more runs. Just 8 more. That's all we want. Just 8 more runs, okay? Just Absolutely. Let us call it some course of the game. But Juju and Jackson, you better keep them jokers apart, man. You better find out where they are at all times. Hey, where's Juju at? Oh, he's going to go see Jackson. No, go get him. You better go get him. So hopefully, man, we just keep them jokers apart.
Absolutely.
Keep them apart, man. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jackson has already tweeted at him, or he had an Instagram post like tagging him in it. So he's already ready to go for the collaboration.
You didn't get to him fast enough, man.
Man, no.
That's pretty good.
Tyler, last question before we go. We always talk about balance, like, having a run game and a passing game balance, especially with Andy Reid's offenses. But as a quarterback, is that kind of like, for you, would you want an offense that has more balance, or are you kind of like, when you look at that, is that like that's a quarterback's wet dream to have, like an offense that maybe runs the ball like 8 times a game and it's just more like 40 to 50 passes a game? Is that more? I mean, for Mahomes, as he's starting at this point in his career, is he like, okay, well, you know what, we do have to kind of be more balanced. Whereas maybe his first 2 years, he's like, yeah, let's go run and gun all day long. We're throwing 50 times a game.
Obviously as a quarterback, you want to be, throwing the ball and slinging it around. But at the end of the day, you want to win football games. And, I can promise you Mac Jones, after he threw the ball 3 times against Buffalo in that game and they won the game, he was like, hey, we won the game. I don't care, and not that you're ever going to throw the ball 3 times with Patrick Mahomes, but it's like, if it takes us running the ball 8 more times a game to, but to me, an offensive coordinator is going to adjust as the game goes on. It's like, hey, we can run the ball more this game, or dang, we can't get the run, but you can't completely abort the run. So to me, Andy Reid's always done a great job of taking what the defense essentially has given them. But, at the end of the day, it's one of those things to where when you got a guy like Patrick, you're not going to take the ball out of his hands and just rely strictly on a run game. I mean, you'd just be crazy to do something like that. All the great quarterbacks, Tom Brady, you would never say, we're going to go out in here and run the ball the whole game. But, offensive coordinator, if you can run the ball X amount of times and win and run the clock, I mean, I can promise you Bill Belichick, he wants to see that clock ticking. He don't want to see incomplete passes. And I know at the end of the day, you want to have more on that scoreboard than your opposing team. And that's what it's all about, certainly.
Yeah. And I'll speak on, like, as far as on the run game up front, the big guys always want to be able to lean on guys. They want to lean on the defense, and they hate having to get back, man, and kick back in pass protection all the time. And when you have a Khalil Mack and, those guys that's going to be over there with the Raiders, it's like, look, man, I'm doing this, and it makes you soft. It makes you softer. It makes you back, just sitting back all the time. And we know, man, pass rush, just a matter of time for them guys and boys get back there on you. And so what do? How do you negate that? Go straight at their mouth. That's what you do. And you start wearing them down third or fourth quarter, and you take some of that pass rush off of them. That's what you do. Lean on them a little bit, take some of that pass rush out of them. So, yeah, I think you got to do it, man. Andy has to incorporate a little bit more than running game here in Kansas City.
And I think, and to that, we only have currently, it's only Derek Gore and CEH Allaire on the depth chart right now. But right before the show, I saw that Ronald Jones is visiting Kansas City today. So, and Ronald Jones coming out of USC, a lot of people compare him to Jamal Charles as far as, the way he ran, his running style. Maybe not, maybe he hasn't really turned out to be Jamal Charles so far in his career, but maybe a change of scenery might be nice. And we could definitely use a guy like Ronald Jones in our offense.
And that's a position, a running back position to me is probably, obviously protections are key for a running back. But as far as running the ball, I mean, you ain't got to coach that. I mean, the guy, where holes, 0 through 8 and where 1 through 9 is. I mean, at the end of the day, the biggest thing I think the transition for a running back, a rookie guy essentially, is the pass game protection of understanding, who the line's got and who do I have. But, a guy like a veteran like Patrick now, I mean, there was times where I know the younger running back was, more or less looking, hey, who do I got? And I'm like, hey, you got 54 to 52 or whoever it might be. essentially.
Yeah.
So a guy like that, but you know, like I said, I mean, those are minor things that I know a veteran like Patrick is pretty much, it could bring a young guy like that along, certainly.
Right.
And plus, Ronald Jones, you know, he's played with, you know, Brady, so you know he could be, you know, that's something he's got in his back pocket, and going to Mahomes, so he's going to take that with him to Kansas City if we do sign him.